everyone, thanks for checking out today's video. I really appreciate the fact that you chose my video here today. And welcome to my channel, Jersey Shore Pondscapes Videos. My name is Chris. So I've been building koi ponds now for over 25 years. I put together this channel basically to share with you as much information as I can, the things that I've learned over the years, and hopefully it can help you out whether you're looking to build a pond or you have a pond and you have some questions, you have some problems. I have a ton of videos here on the channel, all broken down into the playlists. Use the playlist to help you find things and navigate your way around. A ton of videos on just general pond care, building, construction, design, to maintenance, to aquatic plants, fish, filtration systems, the whole bit. So take some time, take a look around. Hopefully you can find something that can help you out, answer some questions. And yeah, again, I thank you very much for checking out this video today. So today's video, we're doing something really cool, and this is a video that I really think is like really important, and I really want to talk to you about, and I really want you to understand it and take advantage of what I'm telling you here today, because it can really help you out and save you a lot of money. We're talking about reducing chlorine and chloramine in ponds. So if you have city water at your house, in other words, if your water at your house is being supplied to you from a municipal water supplier, the township, you need to know about this here. If you have a well water, then you're lucky, and you don't have to worry about chlorine and chloramines in your water. But if you have, city water, if your water is coming from the township, a municipal water supply, they add chlorine and chloramines into their systems, basically to help disinfect it. They need to make sure that the water that gets to your house that they provide is safe for you to drink, that it doesn't contain all kinds of bacteria that's going to make you sick. Okay, so in order to do that, they need to sanitize their systems, clean their systems with chlorine and chloramine. Now, not only their systems, but all the plumbing and all the pipes that lead from them to you and to everybody else. Okay, so it's really a very common thing that we need to be aware of, and it is very toxic to your fish. Now, the amounts of chlorine and chloramine that they add to the water is safe for people to consume, to drink, and to use in their cooking and stuff. However, it is not safe for your fish. Okay, it can cause a lot of problems with your fish. So we need to know how to take all this chlorine and chloramine out of our water so that our fish are safe and healthy and it's not a problem. All right, so we're going to talk about all that today. Now, luckily, even though chlorine and chloramines is a very common problem, it's very easy to control, very easy. So it's nice to know that there's a problem with our ponds or something that can be very easily remedied. And that is by adding what they call a dechlorinator. It's a really common product that's sold anywhere you can buy, pond supplies, fish tanks, aquariums, stuff, pet shops, whatever. They will all have dechlorinator. In fact, a lot of them will even have several different brands of it. What you need to know is that every brand, every one of them is basically the same thing. All right. Some might have a little other gimmicks to it, like they'll have a stress reducer or, I don't know, whatever, some other little water treatment, whatever. What you need to know is that it's basically all a dechlorinator. It uses the same chemical in it, and they all do the same thing. What you should be aware of, though, is since there are a lot of different brands, the bottles may have different prices on them, right? So one company might have a bottle that's $12. One company might have a bottle that's, $17. So you're going to say, well, I'm not going to spend 17, I'll just buy the one for 12, right? Well, what you need to know is that they may treat different amounts of water. So the $17 bottle might treat 15,000 gallons of water, whereas the $12 bottle might only treat 10,000 gallons of water, okay? So just keep that in mind. However, hopefully after this video, my goal here is that you will never buy that stuff again. You're going to buy something different, and I'll tell you about it right here. Anyway, we're going to get into all that. So basically, this dechlorinator, all right, when you add it to your pond, it neutralizes that chlorine and chloramines almost instantly, okay? It's a chemical reaction that occurs really fast, and it solves the problem easy, all right? But it is really important that we put this stuff in the pond, because the chlorine and chloramines, if not treated, can really kill your fish quickly. All right. So what chlorine and chloramines do in the water that causes your fish to die is basically what happens is it reduces the blood's ability to carry oxygen. All right, so we need oxygen in our bodies, right? Our oxygen goes to all our muscles, so we can move. You know, we breathe oxygen. All right, so chlorine reduces the amount of oxygen, or the blood's ability to carry oxygen. How it does that, I don't know. I'm not a biologist, but I know that this is what happens. And it makes perfect sense, because the plain obvious signs of having, you know, fish that are sick because of chlorine and chloramines in the water is that you will see your fish become very lethargic, very slow. They kind of just, a lot of times they tuck their fins in on their sides and they just kind of like sit there, okay? They're not actively swimming around their pond. Their bodies are hurting. Their bodies are starved of oxygen. They don't have the energy to swim around and move. So it starts off by the fish becoming very listless. And then it ends up being the fish are up at the top surface of the pond gasping for air. Okay? And then they die. All right? So, luckily, by adding a dechlorinator into the pond, it's a quick reaction, all right? It neutralizes that chlorine quickly, and the fish that are not on their last breath, okay, can be saved. We need to increase the aeration in the pond, get as much oxygen into that pond as we can, treat that chlorine with a dechlorinator immediately, and hopefully we can save a lot of our fish before more die. All right. Now it may take a few weeks for some of these fish to recover and be back to themselves, okay, but they can recover from it. And it is an easy treatment. We just have to do it and get it in that pond. All right. Now, chlorine in its natural form is a gas. All right. So however the water treatment plants use it, they might put in a solid form, you know, they might pump the gas into the water. I don't know how they do it, but the point is chlorine naturally wants to be a gas. So however the water treatment systems put the chlorine into the water, once it's free in the water, it wants to become a gas again, all right? So when we get it out of our taps and it is released into our ponds, by adding a lot of aeration in the pond and agitation, okay, through waterfall, splashing, and all that stuff, the chlorine will convert back to the gas, okay, and want to be released into the air. So chlorine can naturally dissipate in your pond over a period of time. Now again, depending on how much aeration and agitation we have in the pond will determine how quickly that gas can escape. So if we fill up a pond today with brand new water from the tap, city water, and we get the pond started, we get all the waterfalls going, we have an air pump in there, but we don't have any fish yet. It's a brand new pond, all right? Within a day or two, our chlorine levels are probably gone. Safe, okay? Safer, all right? It shouldn't be a problem. But if we have a pond right now with fish in it that, let's say, I know we had to drain and clean it, or we had a leak and half of the pond drained, and we need to fill it back up with water today, we have to put in a dechlorinator to eliminate that chlorine because we have fish in the water, all right? So now, chloramines, all right, are a liquid form, and they want to stay in the water. They will not turn to gas and escape. They will stay in your pond. So while the chlorine itself will turn to a gas and dissipate out of the pond, the chloramines will stay in the pond. Now, every municipality, every water treatment plant may use a different combination of the two. Some areas they may use more chlorine and less chloramines. Some areas may use more chloramines and less chlorine. All right, it all is different. So if they're using more chloramine than chlorine, or even if it's 50-50, if we put that into our ponds, the chlorine will dissipate, but 50% of the chlorine will dissipate, but 50% of the chloramines that are left are still going to stay. All right, so it still needs to be treated. No matter what, we should always treat it with our dechlorinator. All right, now as I was saying, some of the signs of our fish being sick are, they get very listless, right? We're not allowing the oxygen to flow through the body. And one definite sign, not only observing the fish and seeing that they're up at the top gasping for air, even if we have a lot of aeration going in the pond, it doesn't matter. Their blood can't carry the oxygen. Another good sign is if we take a fish and we open up that gill flap and we look at their gills. Normally their gills are going to be a nice bright pink red color, right? And just look vibrant, like healthy, okay? That's what I just want to say. If we open up those gill flaps and there is a chlorine or chloramine toxic level in the pond, they appear to be more rustic brown color, all right? And that's what happens to the fish's blood. It actually turns from a nice rich red color to like a rusty brown color, all right? The fish don't last long. So anyway, now, how do we treat it? Okay, so this dechlorinator that we can buy in the pond store, right? Again, a really common product. We put it in the pond, and it immediately starts a chemical reaction that starts to neutralize both chlorine and chloramines. Now, there is a byproduct of this chemical reaction, all right? Adding the dechlorinator into, adding the dechlorinator into chlorine, the byproduct is salt. It's a trace amount of salt. It's very small. It's not going to, cause any problems in the pond at all. We don't even worry about it. But I'm just telling you, that's the end product, is a little salt. Adding a dechlorinator that eliminates the chloramines, the end result of that chemical reaction is ammonia. Now, ammonia is also toxic to the fish, okay? Now, we're talking trace amounts here, okay? We're talking trace amounts of ammonia. Nothing that's going to say, well, the chloramines in the pond are toxic, it's going to kill my fish, but if I put this chemical in, it's going to turn it into ammonia, and they're going to build up and kill my fish. No. Trace elements of ammonia. Now, if you have an established biofilter with the bacteria in there that's balancing your pond out, and that biological filtration is occurring. You've got your bacteria built up, everything's good. It'll absorb whatever ammonia is generated from this chemical reaction, no problem, no problem. Again, it's not even an issue. I just want to tell you what happens in this chemical reaction, okay? Just so you're aware of it. But you should never have a problem. It's not an issue. You need to eliminate the chlorine and chloramines 100 times more important than what the byproduct is of the chemical reactions, okay? But I know these facts, so I'm just sharing it. All right, here is what you need to know, all right? This is the big one. This is what's going to save you a ton of money. All right, when you go out and you buy this dechlorinator in the store, you're basically buying a bottle of water with a little bit of a chemical called sodium thiosulfate. All right, sodium thiosulfate is the chemical, the reagent that is going to neutralize all that chlorine and chloramine, and it does it easily. So when you buy that bottle of dechlorinator for $17.99, you're getting 99.9% water, okay, and a little bit of this sodium thiosulfate in there. It's a ripoff. It's a total ripoff. It's one of the biggest gimmicks in the industry. They don't want you to know that, but I'm going to tell you, okay? It's an absolute ripoff, like ridiculously stupid, all right? Now, you can buy sodium thiosulfate easily. It's not a toxic chemical. It's not a hazardous material. It's just a chemical that's used, mostly advertised for pools, okay, for reducing chlorine levels in pools. It's sold in many different forms, sizes, okay? It's very easily available. You buy it on eBay, you buy it on Amazon. I bought this bag on Amazon, all right? Here's the difference. A little bottle of dechlorinator in the store. Let's say I'm going to use $35 worth in the store. Okay, because I know the store by me, they have a little bottle, it's like a quart or whatever. I don't know exactly what it was, but I want to say it treats maybe, 15,000 gallons of water. It costs $35 at the local pond store. For $35, I bought a 10-pound bag of sodium thiosulfate. Okay, $35 worth. At the store, treats 15,000 gallons. On Amazon, this bag will treat over 400,000 gallons of water. Okay, same price, all right? All I need to do with this is mix some of it in a gallon of water, and I have enough, okay? This little container right here, this is 120 grams. I don't remember what this costed me. It was probably $7 or something like that. This says it can treat up to 75,000 gallons of water. All right. Now, there's a lot of science involved when it comes to dilution rates and how much we need in our pond. There's a lot of science, okay? It depends on how many parts per million of the chlorine and chloramines are in our tap water. And every house is different, okay? Everywhere is different. You can call your municipal water supply and they'll give you the numbers. They'll tell you exactly how much chlorine and chloramines in part per million they have in their water system or they treat with. But what is at your municipal water supply and what ends up coming out of your tap, your neighbor's tap, the guy down the road's tap can vary, can be different, okay? So you know, then we have to buy all these meters and test kits to test exactly how much we have coming out of each tap, and you know how many parts per million we need to treat for with sodium thiosulfate. It gets crazy science. Okay, it can be figured out. Believe me, it can be figured out. There's a lot of stuff online that tells you how to do it. I'm going to tell you, you don't need to worry about it. All right, you don't have to get that crazy with it. This product is very safe to use in your pond. It is very, very, very hard to overdose this stuff and hurt your fish, all right? I mean, you would literally have to dump this whole bag into a small, tiny little, I don't know, 100-gallon pond to kill your fish, all right? So it's not really an issue. Now, there's a bunch of different formulas. You can go online, you can look up how much sodium thiosulfate, and they'll tell you, well, you need so much per so many parts per million. This bag right here is actually sold as a pool product. Although on the company's website and on the product description on Amazon, it does say, you know, pools, blah, 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 blah. And it also says, also can be used for, you know, fish ponds and aquariums, all right? But this here says 1 ounce, 4 teaspoons will neutralize 1 part per million of chlorine or bromine in a 10,000 gallons of water. All right, 1 part per million in 10,000 gallons of water. Now this is 10 pounds. So if you do the math, all right, this will treat 1.6 million gallons of water at 1 part per million. All right. Now the highest level in a municipal water supply is generally about 3.5, 3.75 parts per million. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that 1.6 million and we're going to make it treat up to 4 parts per million. All right. So then it would only be 400,000 gallons. Only 400,000 gallons out of this bag. Okay. Now, as I said, it is very safe to use in your pond, so we really don't have to be all that concerned with overdosing it. Okay. However, if we underdose it, it's not going to be as effective, right? But we have a wide scope of safe parameters here to use this stuff. I'll be honest with you, whenever I build a pond and I fill it up with water, or I'm cleaning somebody's pond, we drain it, we clean it, we fill it back up with water, I have a good rough idea of how many gallons are in the pond. I can estimate pretty well. I've been doing this long enough. And, you know, I'll take my bottle of dechlorinator and roughly know, you know, I got 2,000 gallons in this pond, you know, blah, 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 and we're good. All right, it's not a science. It doesn't have to be that difficult. We just need to get some sodium sulfate into that pond to neutralize the chlorine. All right, if I overdose a little bit, it's not going to hurt. Doesn't matter. Waste a little bit of product, but you know, at $35, I can treat 400,000 gallons of water. I don't care if I waste a little bit. Not a big deal. Okay. So, yeah, if you own a pond, you don't have to buy 10 pounds of it, okay? I mean, this comes in 5-pound bag. This one comes in 10 pound. It comes in maybe even a 15 or 20 pound bag. Or there's companies that just sell a little bit of it, you know? And you get something like this, you know, mix it with a gallon of water, you got enough for all year. Like, no problem, all right? At a fraction of the cost of what it's going to cost you at a pet store to buy dechlorinator, which is basically a little container of water with a half a teaspoon of sodium thiosulfate in it. All right. Buy this stuff. It lasts forever. Okay. As long as you keep the bag sealed and in a dry location, the little crystals in here, you know, will last forever. Okay. They'll last a long time. And once you make a solution, you know, say in a gallon, a solution of it, you know, it does have a shelf life. I've read a few different things, but typically, you're getting 6-8 months out of it. So, make as much as you need, whether you want to make a gallon, you want to make a liter, you want to make 16 ounces, 8 ounces of it, whatever. Just do the math, figure it out. You can do it. Now, how much do we need? I'm going to use a formula from Dr. Eric Johnson. Now, Dr. Eric Johnson is an authority when it comes to koi health. He's an amazing guy, has a lot of information out there for you on how to take care of your koi, treating different parasites, bacterias, all that kind of stuff, water treatments. He is an authority. According to him, what I've saw on his videos, 500 grams of sodium thiosulfate in 1 gallon of water will treat, and he says, 38,000 gallons or more. All right. So basically, if you do the math, you can go on Google and just say how many grams in an ounce, or how many ounces, whatever, and you can convert it. Basically, I want to say he said 500 grams in a gallon. 500 grams is roughly very close to 1 pound. All right. So 1 pound of this stuff into a 1 gallon of water can treat, let's say, 40,000 gallons. All right. So that's 1 pound. There's 10 pounds in here. So 40,000 times 10 mixes. It's 400,000 gallons of water I can treat with $35 of sodium thiosulfate. All right. Yeah. So definitely, I know a local pond place by me, there's a couple of them, and they sell like a gallon of the dechlorinator, which will treat, 25,000 gallons of water or something, and it's like almost $100. It's at least $89 or $95 or something for it to treat, 25,000 gallons of water. And for $35, this will treat 400,000. Okay. Now, you want to use distilled water. All right. Distilled water, it's just a purified water. Okay. You can buy it in the grocery store. Usually, in the aisle where they have all the bottled waters, just look for a gallon of distilled water. They also, a lot of stores also have it in the aisles where they have all the cleaning supplies and, laundry detergents and stuff like that. They will have sometimes distilled water there in that aisle as well. My wife uses distilled water in her iron. When she's ironing the clothes, she uses distilled water in there. It just leaves less residue and buildup inside the iron itself. It's a cleaner water, okay? All the contaminants and heavy metals and stuff are removed from it. A lot of the minerals and stuff are removed out. So it's just a pure form of water, and it's great to use to mix this stuff with. Okay? So, hopefully you will never have to go to the store and buy dechlorinator and get ripped off again. All right? Yeah. So, if you have city water, you should always have a bottle of dechlorinator at your house. Okay? You never know when you're going to need it. All right? There could be an emergency one day. You could all of a sudden get a leak in your pond, and you come home from work and you go out to the pond and it's half drained and you need to add water to it. Well, in order to add water to it, you better have dechlorinator. Okay? Just an example. Always have dechlorinator if you have city water. It's good to have. If you're doing a little water change, it doesn't hurt to put a little bit in there. Okay? Just, think about how many gallons of water in your pond, how much your little bottle treats, and try to, be accurate as you can with it, but don't be afraid to overdose it a little bit. Like I said, whenever I drain and clean a pond or fill up a new pond, I never, measure out how much dechlorinator I'm putting in. Okay, sorry about that. The camera actually shut off. But yeah, as I was saying, just make sure you get that chlorine dechlorinator in the pond. Get all that chlorine and chloramines out so that the environment is safe for the fish and you have no problems. It's easy to do. Look for the sodium thiosulfate online. Like I said, Amazon has it, eBay. You can buy it from a lot of different pool companies even. It's so cheap, easy to do, and very safe for your fish. It's the same exact product you're going to buy in the store, only in the store you're paying a lot of money for a lot of water. All right, so that's basically it. I hope the video helped you out today, and I hope you learned something and you can save some money, and definitely keep those fish safe. Be very aware of the toxicity of chlorine and chloramines in the pond. It is really serious stuff, so don't overlook it. Also, if you are new to my channel, take a look around. I have a ton of videos here. I do have another video all about different additives for your pond, all different chemicals and stuff. I'm going to be doing more videos on all this kind of stuff. So thank you for watching today, and thank you for your support. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're into all this stuff. I really do appreciate it. The support is what keeps me going. It's a lot of work doing all these videos and putting it all out there for you guys, but I'm doing it because I want to help you. So you can help me in return, by hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. It only makes my videos more accessible, to a lot of other people, but it encourages me and keeps me going as well when I know that people are out there that appreciate what I'm doing. So thank you very much. Have a great day. Hopefully we'll see you back soon. Take care. Bye.